Hello, I'm the MGTOW philosopher. This video I'd like to talk about weakness. You see, the problem with the liberal is he's weak. He can't stomach suffering when he sees it. That's right, he's a weakling. He sees these pictures of these kids starving. He sees these pictures of these kids with their bloated bellies. He sees these pictures of kids rolling around in the mud. He sees these pictures of kids with mites and shit crawling on him, and he gets all weepy and teary-eyed, and his heart bleeds, and he says, "Oh, geez, I gotta help these kids. Oh, my God, I want to cry. Oh, I'm such a fucking pansy." Well, I don't do that. I can handle seeing squalor. I can handle seeing suffering. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't fuck with me. I can feel some pity. I might feel bad for these people, but I'm not going to act on those emotions. You know why? Because that shit's necessary. You see, the left, they're all about emotion. They see suffering and they want to alleviate it, and then they feel guilty if they don't. You know what the left is? The left are selfish, self-absorbed people who only think about themselves. That's right. All this horse shit that they care so much about other people is just that. Horse shit. They care about themselves. The only concern that these people have is how they feel. All right? They feel bad. They feel guilty. They feel horrible. They're doing so well. These people are doing so bad. And they have the ability in that moment to somehow alleviate some kind of suffering to make themselves feel better. You see, it's all about them. It's all about them. They're like the world's biggest narcissists, these people. And their claims that other people in the world, or what they really care about, are bullshit. Now me, I see the big picture. See, the problem with liberals, they don't see the big picture. They think they're helping, but they're actually hurting other people. They're hurting them. When you take somebody and you give them free shit, and then you say, "Here you go, now you have food, and now I feel so much better about myself, and I feel so good about myself, and I feel better now. I don't feel guilty anymore. I've helped somebody, and now I don't have to feel bad seeing you suffering anymore. I can go home and sleep well at night." But you shouldn't be sleeping well, you scumbag motherfuckers, because you've just hurt that person. You've just hurt that person. You don't get it, do you? You don't get it, do you, you liberal scum? You're not helping people when you help them. It depends on the context of the situation and who you're trying to help and why they're in the situation they are. You just don't give help to anybody and everybody that needs it, you idiots. Because it makes you feel better. It makes you feel better because you're so subjective, because everything to you is about feelings. No. Look at the big picture. Look at the big picture, you morons. And I have to repeat this stuff again and again and again because you're such idiots. And your skulls are so thick it doesn't get through. Look at the big picture. Look at the big picture. And this is not only true on a personal level, but on a societal level. Let's look at Africa, for example. You want to know why Africans have so much poverty and live in so much squalor? Because they get so much fucking help and aid from the rest of the world. That's right. They get so much help and aid from the rest of the world. It's not enough. It's not enough, though. It's never enough. You give, but somehow they're not able to rise above their poor, shitty conditions. Now, why is that? Well, I'll tell you. Number one, Africans, on average, have some of the lowest IQs in the world. That's right. So, their average standard of living is very low. That's problem number one. Problem number two is they're incentivized not to improve their situation because people give them food aid. Let me give you a good example. In countries where people grow a lot of rice, the rice farmers do well. Then food aid comes in, giving away free rice. Suddenly the rice farmer isn't making any fucking money. And people aren't working to buy their food. They're getting free rice. They don't have to work. If you incentivize people to be lazy motherfuckers and not work, they're not going to work. Especially people who have low IQs. If you have a very low IQ, you're not going to very well understand the consequences of these type of actions, nor are you going to be heavily incentivized to work within your own best self-interest, okay? What's best for you, you're not necessarily going to do if you're too stupid to understand what's best for you. For you in your mind, what's best for you is to get that free shit and to continue to get as much free shit as you possibly can and game the system, okay? And you might say, oh, that's horrible. Those poor people would get out of that poverty if they could. No, they're being enabled. Have you heard these words before? You leftist scum. Enabled. Enabled. If you enable people, some people, if you enable them, will continue to live in shitty conditions. But the left likes that because it creates a cottage industry of people that they can help. It creates a cottage industry of people that they can help and then get that rush of good feeling. You know, leftists and liberals are actually addicted to altruism. They are addicted to it. It's like a drug. You know, some people jump out of planes and they get like an adrenaline rush, and so they jump out as many times as possible, and eventually their chute don't open and they fucking hit the ground and splat. That's it. Well, that's your leftist. That's the leftist scumbag. They are addicted to altruism. They are addicted to the good feelings. It's like a rush of adrenaline that they get. The feeling that they get is similar to that. But it is very powerful, and they're addicted to that. They're addicted to the virtue they get from it. They're addicted to the good feelings they have about themselves. They're addicted to those emotions. You see, that the left is all about emotion, and those are his drugs. And he wants to have as many people as possible in shitty conditions so that he'll have a whole bunch of people who are always needing his help. That's right. The leftists are the scum of the earth. They are the biggest narcissists in the world. Everything is about them. Everything revolves around them and their emotions and their need to feed their own feelings for virtue. Okay? They need to feel charitable. They need to feel like they are in some way making a difference. They go, wow, oh, I helped these poor people. They feel so good about themselves. They're all about feeling good about themselves, not about helping anybody. Because if they really wanted to help people, they wouldn't do a goddamn thing for the majority of them. Because the only people who are deserving of help, and that the help would actually help, are people who are already on the right track, who get into a bad situation through no fault of their own, and then you help them to get back on their feet. And then that contributes to society. And then that contributes to production. You're adding to society, not taking away. But if you give to people who don't deserve it, who are in a situation through their own goddamn fault, through their own bad actions, you're just enabling them to continue making bad decisions and contributing zero to society, but actually being a net negative to society because they will take more and they will continue to take more as long as you keep giving more. That is reality. That is practical philosophy. That is the realism of the world, and that you liberals and many of you out there don't see. You cannot enable the world and then be surprised when the world is enabled and continues to take and doesn't stand on its own 2 feet. And that's why a situation like Africa exists, and that's why you have poverty even in America, where before you introduced the welfare state, poverty was decreasing at about 1% per year, and then it started to go right back up when you introduced welfare because you started enabling people, you started incentivizing laziness. You started incentivizing not working. There's always going to be a certain segment of the population who will take advantage of that, and that's why so long as you have a welfare state, you will have poverty. So introducing more welfare will just make it even worse, but that's what the left wants because it creates a cottage industry of people who will always need their help and always feed their need for a fix. I am the MGTOW philosopher, and I wish you a good day. Take care.